Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I'm going to get on the crankshaft for the RM250 Suzuki C2 model. I don't really think there's any difference in the crankshafts, probably any of them except for maybe the 76. But if you would, at this time, I don't generally ask very often, but if you're watching and you like the content, you know, it helps me out a lot if you'll subscribe and give me a thumbs up or whatever. You know, it just does better if we do that. And if you want to hit that notification bell, as soon as I put up another video, you'll get notified right away. So let's get on down there and get this. First, I'm going to get you overhead, and we're going to take a peek at it. Then we'll go down to the press and start pressing it together. Okay, guys, got these cleaned up, and I'm gonna press the pin in the mag side first. And this, you probably can't tell it, but out here it's actually thicker than down through here. As in this right here, this area, this rough area, they actually trim that down a little bit. So this area is the same as the area here where the bearing goes. So when I set this down on the plate, when the pin comes through, it'll stop right here. And that's what we want. That way it'll be flush on this side, and you know, if we need to move it over or whatever, we can always do that, but I don't think we'll need to. I think it'll just stop there and we'll have plenty to go in the other side. It may be recessed a little bit, but not very much. But our first push is going to be getting the pin in the half, and then we'll bring it back over as we always do and load it with the prepared bearings, rod, and washers. Okay guys, first thing I'm going to do is put just a little bit of lightweight oil in here. Heavy stuff isn't going to do you much good. Matter of fact, this light stuff probably doesn't do a lot of good. It helps get you started, I guess. That's probably the most it can do. All right. All right, we'll go ahead and get our aluminum pusher on there. And a little extension there. And we'll see if it'll go. Okay, get you repositioned here a little bit. Let's see what it does now. Still popping pretty good. Can go by hand now. Yeah. Man. It's a tight one. See, we're almost there. Well, I was hoping for a little better news on the press. But this may just be an extra tight one too. Yeah. That ought to be about it. Yeah, that's it. As far as it'll go right now. Sure hoping for a little better news, but that's where we're at. Okay, there we go. That's flush with this side. And we'll go ahead and get our bearing and rod prepped. And get our first ring on and our bearing. And a rod. And other ring. So we're ready to go put the other end on. Okay, I'm back up to my old tricks here. Our gap was 23 to 24 thousandths. I just put 30 thousandths worth of shims underneath the thrust washer, between the thrust washer and the flywheel, or flywheel. And hopefully I can stop it there. And I won't have to, I'll just have to finish it up with a brass hammer a little bit. Just a couple thousandths is my plan. Okay, so I've got my oil in. Whoops. I'm losing my feeler gauge. Okay, I'm just trying to get this kind of lined up. She's looking pretty good. Okay. Okay. About all we can ask for at this point. Make sure my feeler gauges are still in. Okay, I think we've got just a little ways to go yet. Okay, let me check this out. Okay, looks pretty good at this point. Our feeler gauges are still loose, but they're held in place. So I think I better stop there and take it up the bench, see where we're at. Okay guys, I had my two in the back had fallen out, but my two out here were still in place and they're loose, so I can pull them out. And these were 215s, so that it was tight, but it was still it would still move. So I'm thinking I should be at about 30 thousandths, and that would put me at about, we had 23 before, so about 7 thousandths to go. Let's check our web here. Yeah, see 60-22. And a little closer there, it's 60, right at 60. So we're probably got a little, we'll have to do a little bit of bowing out of it. That's just part of it sometimes. But right here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover up my sealing surface and everything here. Put some protection on that, and then we're going to give it a couple whacks right here with the brass hammer to see if we can drop it down about 7 thousandths. Okay, I've covered up the snout here, so if I slip, I don't tear it up. And this is the side, you can feel it just needs, about 7 thousandths is what it needs. So we're going to give it a whack. And this is a brass hammer now, same as I used for the web. Okay, we're down to 60-18, so we'll give it another love tap. $60-13. It didn't move any then. There we go, 60-08. We're getting close there now. So let's see how we're doing over here. 60-09, so it's working it out. Yeah, 60-07 at 180 degrees from the pin, and 60 even right there. Okay, I think we're going to stop. That should be good. Now we'll start our process of getting the runout out, if we've got any. Hopefully we don't, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Okay, get rid of our protection here now, I think. Let's double check what our progress here. Okay, 60-01, and at about 180, we're at 60-07. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and squeeze it just a little bit right there in the vise. Okay, you want to do this with brass or aluminum. I got copper, something soft, and we're going to squeeze 180 degrees from the pin gently. We don't need to go too far. Let's see where we're at. Okay, I saw a 6 there. There's a 5. So we'll give it another little squeeze. And then we'll go work it. $60.01. That may just be right. Double check it over here. $60.01. We're going to stop right there, put it up in the lathe, and we'll check it for run out now. Okay guys, got it zeroed out. And I've got about 2.5 on this side and about a half there. So it's pretty darn close to where it was when we started. So here's, right there is the high spot. So we need to whack it right in here to drive it down. Let me get a marker. So since this is the high, we're going to hit it right here. Okay, you need to have this in your hand because it's got to be able to go somewhere. And if you put it on a table or something, it's not going to. So right here's our mark. Take our brass hammer, give it a whack, and then we'll check it again. Okay. So we've got 1.5 here and 1 here now. And they're both this way at the same time. So that indicates a pinch condition up here. So otherwise the crankshaft is bowed up. So we need to come down here at the bottom and squeeze it with the vise just a little bit, and that'll bring it down. This is just indicative of that. When you get any kind of movement on both dials going the same way, that's telling you that you've got a pinch condition or a wedge condition, one where you're going to have to wedge it apart. But in this case, both of them are high here, so that means we need to pinch it down here. So I'm going to mark it. It's a little over 180 degrees. Hopefully I got a mark on it there. Yep, okay. So I'll take it over to the vise and we'll squeeze it just like we did last time. All right, guys. 0, 0. Got a half here and about 1/4 on this side. We're going to stop right there. Okay guys, that's where we're going to stop, and we're just going to double check our web here. We're millimeter 0, And we're right on 60 millimeters at the pin. And we'll rotate this to about 180 from the pin. And we're at 60.03. I'd say that's good. And the run out, a half on one side, about a quarter on the other. Everything looks good here. I'm not exactly completely satisfied. I'm not satisfied at all with my press, but we got it done just like we did before. You just have to kind of figure out a way to work around it. You can see here that our pin is just about even with the half on that side and on this side. So we are good to go. So now I'll get some bearings put in the cases, and we'll start reassembly here pretty soon. Okay guys, let's check this clearance between the bearing and the thrust washer. 22 goes in it. 23 is tight. Yeah, no use trying a 24. So that's why they don't give you all that extra information. You know, they're giving you enough. They're telling you that, yeah, same on this side. 23 is tight. And the 22 just smooths right in there. Yeah, it's, you don't need that stuff, evidently. I didn't check the shake, but like I say, they give you what you need to know. You've got to have this in the right place. You got to have it at 60 or thereabouts, and no more than 2 thousandths run out. And you know, you just don't need all that other stuff. And you know, to be quite honest with you, on most of them, the shake, it's such a large, you know, like I say, it's from when you first set them up, they're about 30 to 32, but they can go up to 120 or 140 or something like that thousandths. So it's almost a moot point. I'm saying that the ones that this type here with the shims or the thrust washers that are the same size and float on the pin here, like this, the TS400 and several others. This rod is it's kept in position by the piston. That keeps it from going too far. The piston will maintain it pretty much in the middle. You know, it's just the pin bosses on it and the bearing that goes up here. That's how it's centered. So I can see that the reason for the bigger thrust washers, checking those for the proper distance, because those are being centered by the crankshaft down here. So that's your difference. And you know, it's still, I don't understand why Suzuki didn't put this in the shop manual, this width. But I've got a good idea. My idea is they didn't want you doing them. And that way you'd have to take it to the shop because you didn't know. And they gave you the run out so you could check them. You know, if you had it apart or something, but you didn't need to do a crank, you could check them, make sure everything is the run out's good. But I've got a feeling, and I think that's why Yamaha did it too on a separate, you know, it's not in the book either. If it wasn't for climbers, you wouldn't know, and especially in 1978 or 79 when these were new, you wouldn't know any of that because they keep it close to the cuff, or close to the chest, so to speak. So anyhow, I think I said that it was probably wore about 1,000ths, and that's just about proofs it out. We were at 23, now we're at 22 thousandths, and I don't know. I guess that is enough information after all. Your run out and your width. Okay guys, there you have it. Pretty easy one actually. I probably went back and forth to the vise 6 times. Just give it a little squeeze each time until actually I over squeezed it and then had to wedge it. But still, everything turned out good. And let me show you what I do use for that. I've got various sizes of these machinist wedge, and that's what I do. You can put one in on one side and the other one going the other way and tap them in, and it just squeezes it right, or pulls it apart. And that's what I had to do a little bit because I over squeezed it in the vise. But that's just, I mean, you don't know. You don't know, and you don't know how much it's going to move when you do it. So it's just part of it. Don't be scared of them. It's not black art or anything like that. It's just checking them with a dial indicator. If you've got a set of V-blocks, the best thing to do is use, let me grab those. Okay, this is what I use for ones that the holes in the end of the crankshaft are messed up. Because if they're messed up, it's throwing you off to start with. A regular set of V-blocks will not do this. You've got to have these knife edge, and what I did was I built this so I could slide it back and forth to open it up, and this side here I can move up and down. So that way you can kind of, because a lot of times the journals are a little different size on one side the other, so you can do that. But these need to be reasonably thin so that you can get an accurate reading with your dial indicators. But like I say, it's this one all total from my introduction until we just finished it, I probably got 45 minutes in it. And it really went quick. They don't always go that way, but actually I probably got an hour in it because I had to come over here and cut this shim stock to put under it to limit it. And the idea there is if you got 20 thousandths that you want there, and we wanted 23, that's what our other one spec'd out at, you just go a little more. In this case I did 2 pieces at 15, which should be close to 30, and that way even if it pulled in and it stopped completely and jammed them up, I could still pull those out, and you just get a pair of ice grips on them or something and pull them out, and then you just do like I did there. Just get you a padded bench, and with a brass hammer. Everything is a brass hammer, no steel, no steel. Anyhow, you just tap it, pound it. It's more like pound, I guess. Just a little at a time, and keep checking your web distance. And when you get close, then just stop and see where you're at. Go ahead, and if you've got a lathe, do this. If you don't, just build you one of these. You can get the wide V-blocks from Amazon, but I've tried that and it doesn't work. You will never get a straight crank with those. There's too much surface area. You've got to have a very small amount of surface area to do it. But that's the big thing. But if you've got that V-block and you've got a dial indicator, you got a brass hammer, and you got a press. You can do this, and it's not that big a deal. If you, just like there where I pinched it and it went too far, well, I knew it went too far. So the opposite of pinching it is wedging it. So you just do that until you get it back out to where it was. And if you, I really didn't have to do any of, I think one time, the first time, I tapped it on one flywheel just to move those two flywheels in. But I just use a little T-square or a little L-square to get them as close as I can, and it really works. It really does. It's not a big deal. You can get it really reasonably close, and then you just finish it up like we did. I'd say that you saw over half of the motions that I did to correct. So it really didn't take so very long, maybe 12, 14 different motions, and we had it a half on one side and a quarter on the other. So if you would, there again, thumbs up, and please subscribe. It just really helps the channel. I don't make much money on this thing. I think I'm up to about 5,800 subscribers, which is great. And I cherish every one of them because we're all old bike guys or gals. Got a few gals out there, and we're just interested in the same thing. And what little money I make from YouTube, it helps me to buy equipment or parts or whatever. So it pretty much all goes back in. And well, it does all go back in, because for years I didn't make anything, and I was out money just to produce them. But anyhow, help me out if you would, and I appreciate you going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.